Of all the sander types, the belt sander is the most aggressive. It's the fastest sander for removing lots of material, so it's rarely used in any form of finish sanding. You can use belt sanders on a wide range of materials, including metals, but DIYers typically use them for sanding large, flat surface areas, like floorboards, decks, or for restoring old doors and furniture, and even my old workbench. Remember not to sand plasterboard walls, because belt sanders are too aggressive. Not only will they damage the surface itself, but the fine dust can damage the internal motor. As their name suggests, belt sanders use a sanding belt which must be fitted correctly. In this video, I'll show you how to correctly fit and align the belt, along with a few other tips on how to use your belt sander to get great results. Belt sanders come in several sizes. You'll need to refer to your owner's manual to know what size belt fits your model, because they're not interchangeable. When replacing a belt, there are two important things to know. The belt must be fitted in the right direction to prevent it from breaking, and it must be aligned to prevent it from coming off during use. Let's look at fitment direction. Belt sanding belts are made with an overlapping join. Because of this, it's important to fit the belt in the right direction, otherwise it'll break at the join during use. On the inside of every belt, you'll see directional arrows. Simply fit the belt in the same direction as the arrow on the side of the tool. The position of the arrow will vary between models. To fit or replace the belt, unplug the power cord if you have an AC model, or if you have a cordless one, remove the battery. Then take the tension off the belt by pulling back this tensioning lever and sliding the old belt out. Now position the belt roughly in the center of the metal backplate and push the tensioning lever in. At this stage, the belt should fit firmly on the rollers. Once the belt's fitted, it needs to be aligned on the rollers by adjusting the tracking. This ensures that the sanding belt doesn't come off during use. To align the sanding belt, reconnect the power source. Firmly hold the sander away from your body and turn the tool on. If the belt stays running in the center of the backing plate, you won't need to make any alignment adjustments. But if you notice the belt slowly tracking to the left or right, then you'll need to adjust its alignment by using this tracking knob. Keep making small adjustments until the belt stabilizes central to the backplate, and you're done. Now that the belt has been fitted and aligned, I want to touch on a couple of points just to make sure that we maximize the life of the motor before we use the sander. Firstly, remember that all sanders are typically used for long periods and need a rest every now and again to allow the motor to cool. Otherwise, over time, it could eventually burn out. As an example, if you use the sander for 30 minutes, give it, say, a 5 or 10 minute rest. And the other point is to keep these air vents clear of sawdust. These are important for airflow that help keep the motor cool. And if they're blocked up, it's pretty easy to clean them out with a small paintbrush. Okay, so we are finally ready to use a sander, but before we do, we must make sure we're using the right PPE. That includes eye protection, ear protection, and a dust mask. At the start of the video, I mentioned that these are very, very powerful tools, so it's important to always make sure you're using two hands so that the sander doesn't get away from you. With your workpiece secure, turn the tool on with the sander away from the work and slowly lower it to the surface. Go slowly and avoid applying too much pressure. Let the sander's weight do the work as you make overlapping passes. Keep the sander as flat as possible and be careful not to tip the sander or change direction, because this will only damage your workpiece. The bag on a belt sander can fill up quickly, so check and empty it regularly. And if you want a cleaner working environment, consider using a workshop vacuum like this one. And here's a tip for cordless models, as they can be quite thirsty on battery runtime, so we always recommend using a larger, higher capacity battery pack. For more tips and advice, check out ryobi.com.au or our YouTube channel.
RYOBI, a cut above.